What is up? Welcome to today's video and welcome to right now Bali, Indonesia. So I know I'm a little late to the party in some ways, but I wanted to do a quick little video, really off the cuff, wrap up the video, share with you what has been going on in the past few weeks, really a few things that really went wrong and let's say threw me off from what I was doing. At the same time also just really talk about the whole year, the past few months, the huge changes in my life, and even more importantly, going forward, what I want to do in the next few months, but also years. So right now, maybe you have noticed, this is a little bit cut into Still the Philippines series. I'm a little bit behind of the material for a few reasons, and as of right now, for the past few weeks, I have been in Bali, had an amazing time, and I'll be staying here actually a little bit longer, and I would say working right now on one of my biggest projects that I've ever done. But to wrap up the year 2019, you know, I would say for the past 4 or 5 years, I kind of like had this standard for me, or let's say this expectation and this wish to make every year bigger than the one before. Bigger in terms of the steps that I take, let's say how much I stretch who I can be. And just to get into 2019, how it started out, you know, I got an apartment. I moved to a city with a person that I really liked and still like. Talking about my then girlfriend, a question that still comes up all the time. At this point, we haven't been together anymore for quite a few months, and that's where the year started out. So we got the apartment at the beginning of, at the end of 2018, and it has been an amazing chapter. You know, your first crib, putting all the furniture in. We did the whole thing, the whole 9 yards, putting a kitchen in, and it was really fun, and I really loved that place. And to be honest, at this point, sometimes I even look back at it. The videos are still up. The video how I put together all of the place, but also the video how I sold all of it exactly 1 year later. And you know, that's how life sometimes plays. And what I want to share with you today a little bit in a way of wrapping it up is the thing that I want to set everything right now a little bit in perspective. In the perspective of, let's say 3-4 years ago, what I'm doing right now was a huge dream. It was a wild, wet little fantasy to be able to travel the world, to be able to really expand my mind every day. Really, the past few days and weeks, you probably feel the energy. I've been feeling really well after quite a few bad weeks. We're gonna get into that too. But at the beginning of 2019, I wasn't really sure how this year is gonna go. I wasn't really proud of myself, to be honest, in early 2019. I felt a little bit lost. And guys passing by, we're here literally in the middle of rice fields, beautiful sunset. And just in a way, I knew that for years I've been working up to be in a position to be able to live out a certain freedom and to wake up every day in a situation that reminds me of what I want to do, of, let's say, really that allows me to almost, not every day maybe, but like just like that forces me and doesn't allow me to fall into a daily trap of just going through the motions, just going the same stuff every day. And that kind of like what happened a little bit after a few months in Hamburg. And while I really wanted to make it work, it's not like I was like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. It was one of the hardest decisions in my life that I had to make. I kind of like to, not even a decision, but like I had to admit to myself that I am not following right now I'm not following what I preach. I'm not following my own truth, the thing that I personally deep inside feel is authentic to me. And I was really covering that up for weeks, for months, just putting it inside of me. I wasn't even allowing myself to kind of like think of it and to question what I was doing at that point. And yeah, basically around like halfway in of 2019, we did quite a few big trips. We did a huge Philippines trip, which has been actually quite amazing. And to towards the middle of 2019, I just had to make the super hard decision that what I want to do for this year, definitely, we'll see, for the next few years, in some ways more or less, to live a life of freedom. After now that I'm kind of like have the fundamentals in place to live at different places. I wouldn't call it even traveling, because what I've been doing in Bali for the past few weeks, I've just literally been living here, going through the daily life and really expanding my mind in a way of coming to a new place. And at every new place, one thing is building a new social circle, meeting people. The other thing is becoming kind of like a new you, a new little nuanced version of yourself, in a way of there's a new environment or a new little challenges. It really forces you to get out of your head and into the present and figure things out. And I just noticed how much it helps me to grow as of right now. But I do also have to honestly say that now that I don't have a permanent base, you know, if you know that you're gonna go back to your country, if you know that you have an apartment waiting for you, then it's much easier to play with the idea with which I've been playing. But then if you're actually in that situation, that's where it's a little bit like, oh, I would really like to have a place to put my stuff down. I would really like to, you know. But for now, that's the decision that I made, and I will definitely be rocking it for 2020. We'll see. Maybe get an apartment next year. But that's not the topic right now. What I want to wrap up of, that was pretty much 2019. In a way of, then after I made that decision, I'm telling you, it was one of the hardest decisions, because for me it meant not sharing the life anymore with one of the most amazing people that have ever entered my life. And that was really one of, not the only of course, but a very big reason that as we're just, let's say, their interests were different. And going from there in September, I did a thing that I set out to do a long time ago. New York City is a city that always, you know, it's obviously on the one side, you grow up, you watch all of that stuff, so you're a little bit like, whoop, a little bit affected by just, let's say, Hollywood. But New York City, the first time I visited, it had a certain energy to it, and I felt like this is an energy that I want to experience more of. And in the beginning of 2019, actually I'm working right now on a very big video in which I want to like congest my story, what I believe in, what I want to do in the next few years going forward, and there I will share this a lot more in depth. But basically, in the beginning of 2019, before, I never really committed. I was just like, you know, dabbling around a little bit. Oh, I'm trying something out. People ask me, what do you do? Not much, just little videos. And now this is what I do. This is what I live for. This is what I breathe. This is what I believe in. And in the beginning of 2019, 18, there's this video, my year 2017. At this point, it is exactly 2 years ago. So it's actually quite crazy, all the change and all the things that happened in that time frame. So I made this commitment that by the end of 2018, I want to have 50,000 subscribers. And by 2019, I want to be in a position to be able to live location independently and spend some time in New York City. To go there, to meet people, to record stuff. And in the beginning of 2018, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure, you know? But I was like, 2019 or later. And at that point, like mid 2019, I was thinking to myself, hey, I had this deep inside of me, this little voice. New York was calling in a way. And I just said, hey, like, what is holding you back here really? So basically at this point I was already living by myself in the big apartment in Hamburg. I was like, yo, I have an opportunity, I can give it to somebody else. So it's kind of like, I don't have to worry about the rent there. It's like, I mean, even if I wouldn't have done it, like, what is really holding me back right now? So boom, I booked a ticket, went to New York. This month seemed like a year, and it wasn't all great. Like the first week was pretty epic and awesome. Met a lot of people, was recording a lot. But week number 2, got a little burned out, got a little sick, felt lonely a lot. Really, 2019 was the year of mastering, of spending time alone. I think this is, especially in the time that we live in right now, I'm just like walking back and forth, maybe you've noticed by now. But I think being able to spend time alone is something that is super hard, because that's, like, just try it, you know, for 10 minutes. Like there's a quote, I don't know by who, but like, all the problems in the world come from the fact that a man cannot stand still for 10 minutes without doing something, without thinking about something, without then you always have to do something, and because there's always stuff on your mind that you kind of like is haunting you a little bit. And I mentioned that before in like a social media detox video, that 2019, I think that's why I made those decisions. And to be honest, like, we'll see, the future will show what's gonna come off of it. And yeah, that was 2019 to wrap up. But to get back into the beginning of the video, what I meant by a few rough weeks, I don't want to get into the victim mentality. I don't want to be like, but for me it's very, very important, and I also want to wrap it up with this little video here to also share the downside, the truth about traveling by yourself, the truth about how my life looks like at times, because it's not always just like, oh, amazing countries, we're jumping on a plane, we're staying at this place. So basically what happened is, after I spent these few days on the secluded island in the Philippines, my health kind of like took a little toll. Basically, there was a night that I more or less didn't really sleep. Definitely not a good decision. I thought I could get away with it. Got a little sick, got food poisoning. I guess I threw up the first time in probably 10 years. I think I only threw up maybe as a kid a few times. So that was a very foreign feeling to me. And from there it got a little better, but then it got a little worse, better, worse. What happened then is the audio input in my camera didn't work anymore, and on all of these tropical destinations it's super windy, so there was a lot of footage that I couldn't use. There was a lot of, let's say, resistance to even filming, because I record the most amazing stuff and then there was no audio. Great, you know, so that created a lot of and then there was this one day, really the Armageddon day. It's actually one of the last few videos that I published at this point. I got into a motorbike accident, nothing too bad, everything healed up even at this point. And what also actually happened, what I didn't even mention there, is I crashed my drone that day, and but it somehow miraculously works. Like, there wasn't a light crash, it works. So really, this is like first world problems, but all of that really dragged me down. The health, and yeah, also definitely feeling a little bit lonely at times. As I told you, I feel like I'm pretty good with that. And but yet still, like, that's the reason why now in Bali I'm actually living here and not traveling. Because while it's all really amazing, it takes a toll on your energy levels. It's super easy to get exhausted, to get burned out. You're changing all the time locations, and sometimes you are in a good mood, you're chatting with people, you're meeting great people, you're going out. But then also, that was also like a big thing for me. The truth about kind of like traveling alone is like, if you just want to travel for travel, I think you're in a good position. If you want to do something similar to me, the thing is, at some point you have to also be on the lookout for like-minded people, in a way of, I met a lot of great people that just wanted to party all day, that just wanted to stay up all night, which I did a few times, which was great. But then it's like, what are you actually doing here? You're not on vacation, Danny. You're like, you know. Yeah, that was 3-4 weeks really rough in terms of my health. Also, when I got to Bali, a lot of people just experienced that. I don't remember when the last time was, like when I was like consecutively for weeks extremely low energy, with my messed up camera, with actually right now I just today received a new camera that I ordered here. So we are at 13-14 minutes. To wrap the whole thing up, let me share with you a few big goals. You know, I'm not a big talker. Like, I am a big talker, but in a way of, I'm working right now on a very big video in which I want to really congest what Got a World to See is, what my mission will be for the next few years. But basically, let me tell it like that. For the past few months, I've been really putting in a lot of work into my personal education, reading a lot of books, listening to a lot of podcasts, and trying to really implement this knowledge, but also share with it, work with people one-on-one on my second channel, which I only sometimes have been pushing in the ending of my videos, because it's really my little passion project. It is my little baby, and I'll be so committed to it in the next few months. There will be a video coming every day. I'm working on it right now, and we will start probably within a week from now. And yeah, the goal is really to set a little statement in the personal development niche. The Got a World to See podcast is in the making, and in the next few years the goals is big. I want to do events, I want to do content in multiple languages, and these travel videos, as much as I love them, this is just me, let's say, setting the fundamentals and just telling a little cool story. And right now I feel like I'm really just getting started, and today I wanted to share with you the full picture. I did it on a good day. Today I'm feeling pretty great. There has been a lot of days where I didn't, and I know it doesn't sound cool, you know, it doesn't sound in a way of like, people don't want to hear other people complaining, and I'm not complaining. I want to share with you that even though I'm experiencing these setbacks, I know that in the long run this will be exactly the time that I will be looking back. I feel like right now is the time. It's like, let's say, they talk about progress and success, if you will, is not a linear thing. It's a thing that just goes and then it goes up. And I feel like that something is brewing. I feel like there is something inside of me that this month, next month, this year, next year, the next decade, I will be putting in and fully committing to sharing this journey of, you know, me, my background. Like, I'm coming from a background from a country where the average income is $100, $150. I'm coming from a background where it's like, oh, just like look for a secure job, but at a very young age, I started to kind of like realize that I feel like something is calling inside of me to do something bigger. And why there's also can be a lot of, let's say, a lot of your shadow of, let's say, not the best intentions. I've been questioning my intentions for a long time now, and really in the next 10 years, while I will be busy filling my cup first, let's say in all of like building good relationships, but also building a foundation of knowledge and experience, and this will all be doing, but also always keeping in mind the responsibility to share with people who are in a similar situation what has worked for me, what has gotten me further along, also share the struggles, and I am so pumped for that. So if you watch all the way until the end, I got so much love for you. I hope the best for you for 2020. With that, the sun is going down, 17 minutes. This is my 2019. My so far best work is gonna come 4 weeks from now. Mark my words, early February, it's coming. Maybe mid of February. Alright, so with that, thank you very much for watching. Smash the thumbs up button, and we're gonna see each other in the next one. I got a few more videos from the Philippines, then a few cool videos from Bali, and a few more highly produced videos around personal mindset, empowerment, and just little tricks and techniques that I think will help me to make 2020 the best year so far, and I'll make sure to share that with you as well. Until next time, you got a world to see.